Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for today's running of the NASCAR Cup Series Cookout 400 practice and qualifying session from Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, Virginia. It is the next round of the NASCAR Cup Series season here this weekend. We've got two streams for you back-to-back on this Saturday evening into Saturday night. And the first of which obviously is going to take place over the next couple hours here. Again, Cup Series practice and qualifying. 20-minute sessions for a couple different groups on the racetrack. And then we'll go into single car qualifying just after that, all in this stream. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more NASCAR content as we continue our live commentary coverage of this weekend's racing events. Last night we had the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race along John Silver's 200. Congratulations to Christian Eckes for winning that race. And as far as this one goes here today, we will be following this stream with the NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so about 3 hours from now. You can watch the practice and qualifying session on Fox Sports 2 if you're wondering. All right, well, it seems to be back up and working for the moment. Hopefully this lasts a long time. Sorry for the technical difficulties over the last 24 hours with the streams. We had some issues last night as well during the NASCAR Truck Series live stream. I don't know what's going on, honestly, with this laptop because the Wi-Fi isn't the problem, and I think it's just when I'm running OBS on my sister's laptop. And I don't know why we're, again, having these lagging issues like we are having, but we are here now. Just waiting on the raw feed to become available. There we go. Only 5 minutes into practice, or 5 laps, I should say, into practice for some of these top teams. Corey LaJoie has ran the fastest time thus far in the early going, as we're about 4.5 minutes, not even 4.5, about 3.5 minutes into Group A's practice session. 18 drivers in this first group. Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece, Alex Bowman, Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Todd Gilliland, Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson, Ross Chastain, Zane Smith, Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, Harrison Burton, Daniel Hemrick, and Carson Hocevar are the drivers that are in this session. So yeah, sorry for the, again, technical issues. I don't know what's going on. He needs a new one. I don't know what's going on with this. Like, I literally, like, obviously my laptop doesn't work to stream anymore. Like, it works for setting up my streams, but when I'm streaming, it just, for some reason, is not fast enough to operate under OBS, so that's why it lags. With my sister's laptop, we have not had any issues with this, and now all of a sudden, between yesterday and today, like, I'm having issues running OBS. But it seems to be fine, at least for now. Hopefully we don't have any more lagging issues, and let me know if the audio is working perfectly fine as well. I believe it is. Running smooth now, no interruptions. That's good. Hopefully it stays that way. Really, really hoping. It is frustrating. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for you guys. Like, I want to put on the best possible, stream that I can. And obviously when that issue happens, it's so frustrating for me on my end, because I know that I'm literally trying to do all I can. There's nothing I can do. But we're here now, and we are under practice. So hopefully we run smoothly the rest of the weekend. We haven't had any issues with this all year, so it's definitely a first having to run through the ringer here this weekend. But as far as practice goes right now, top 5 through the first 5+ minutes. Corey LaJoie, again, still at the top of the leaderboard. Bubba Wallace has now just moved into second a couple of laps ago. But LaJoie has been quick, I've noticed, with single car speed this season. He's qualified top 10 a couple times this year, including at COTA a couple weeks ago, and he qualified top 5, so maybe he'll have a good qualifying session. Hasn't put a full race together necessarily this season, but you never know. Maybe this weekend could be the weekend for that. He has had good runs in the Cup Series at Martinsville in the past. Seems to be one of his better tracks on a non-super speedway, so maybe things can go well for him there. Coming into this weekend, the Toyotas have been the strongest on the 2 traditional short track, really just flat ovals, 1 mile and less in length. They've won all three of the points races. And if you go back to the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum, that was also won by Toyota. Oddly enough, Denny Hamlin has won the majority of those races, all of them under 1 mile in length. He has won. So the traditional short tracks, LA Coliseum, Bristol, Richmond. So Hamlin definitely has to be one of the favorites for the race here this weekend. That win at Richmond obviously came last week. And because Bristol was just a few weeks ago, he has won 2 of the last 3 races. Rounding out the top 10 positions, 6 through 10 right now, you've got Byron, Gillen, Cindric, Blaney, and Christopher Bell. Lap times, we haven't seen a lot of tire fall off so far this weekend with truck and Xfinity practice qualifying, and then the truck race last night. There was no fall off, and I think that might be due to the cooler temperatures under the lights. There might be a slight bit more tire fall off for this weekend's Cup Series race, with that being during the daytime, slightly warmer track temps, but we'll monitor that here through practice and then obviously into the race as well. So far, there is a bit of fall off. It looks to be about 0.3 of a second between the fastest lap ran for Corey LaJoie and where he's at now. His fastest lap was a 20.020. That most recent lap he ran, which was his 17th lap of his current practice session, was a 20.314. The only other thing to gauge off of this is how much further are the lap times going to drop from here to the end of each and every one of these drivers' runs as they're on the racetrack right now, and how is that going to vary when we go into Group B, now that there will be a little bit of rubber laid on the racetrack by that point in time. So, again, we will monitor that throughout this practice session. Point standings coming into this weekend. Martin Truex Jr. leads the driver standings overall. He's been very consistent this year. 5 top 10s in the first 7 races. Tied for the most top 10s with his teammate Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs. Again, the Toyota is very strong out of the gate this year on these shorter ovals especially. Expect Truex to have another good run here this weekend, at least by way of race pace and speed. Kyle Larson is on the quick ascension, 3 top 5s this season. His win coming at Las Vegas. He has led the most laps of any driver this year, led quite a few at Richmond a week ago. 368 laps led for Kyle Larson. He's 14 points behind Truex in the driver standing second. Denny Hamlin, the only driver, one of 2 drivers with 2 wins on the Cup Series season. He's only 18 points behind his teammate Truex for first. Currently sitting at only 3 top 10 finishes this season, but 2 of them were his wins. Again, on the short tracks of Bristol and Martinsville. Ty Gibbs still in the top 5 in points. Ryan Blaney, despite having back-to-back finishes outside the top 10, is still hanging on in 5th after the really strong start he had the first 4 weeks of the season. Christopher Bell, William Byron with wins are locked into the playoffs, still in the top 10 of the driver's standings. Chase Elliott is sitting 8th overall. Chastain 9th, and Tyler Reddick rounds out the top 10. We look further down to about the bubble line, the bubble and the cutoff line on the playoffs, as we have 19 races still to go in the regular season, but worth monitoring every race weekend as we go from here on out to see how things change throughout the course of the season. Right now, Bubba Wallace is currently sitting just 7 points above the cutoff line at 14th. After being below the cutoff line a week ago, he gained 4 spots in points after a solid point stay at Richmond despite a 13th place finish. Daniel Suarez ends up 15th in the point standings, but he does have a win, so that means that he is locked into the playoffs as long as we don't get more than 16 winners, and he isn't more than 16th outside of the point standings of those with a win. Brad Keselowski is currently sitting as the last driver in on points, and he is only 7 points to the good over John Hunter Nemechek, but it is worth noting that Keselowski was outside the top 25 in points after the first 3 races, so a quick climb up the standings over the last several weeks. After 3 straight finishes outside the top 10 to start the season, he now has 3 finishes inside the top 10 and 2 top 5s in the last 4 races to get him to 16th. And John Hunter Nemechek, who was inside the cutoff line, 15th in the standings overall last week, fell 2 spots back. He's the first driver out, 7 points. Chase Briscoe is 13 points behind Brad Keselowski. Joey Logano is working his way forward as he is now only 14 points below the cutoff line. Just 2 weeks ago, he was 58 points back, and he was actually as far back as 30th in points just 3 weeks ago. So not a strong start to the year for Logano. A massive points day last week, finishing top 5 in each stage, plus getting a top 3 finish there at the end with a second place run. I'll let you listen into some of the commentary over the course of the Cup Series practice now, as we've already gone through the point standings. Here's Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, and Kevin Harvick.
Or you have to split that rubber because the front end, like Harrison Burton just did right there, you either have to split the car over that rubber or you have to go right against the curb below it, or the front end will take off and the back will slide, and it makes it do all kinds of crazy things. But that's going to get worse and worse as this practice runs on.
That's where that car really loads up, where you're trying to transition back to the throttle, get the wheel straight. You're pulling on the wheel the hardest right there because of that. That transition, getting the car pointed for the straight up off is really challenging.
Larry McReynolds?
You know, Mike, one thing I always look closely at is long run speed. Yeah, we look at who's fastest in practice, but ultimately who's fastest on the long run speed. About the top 10 or 12 drivers, they've already ran close to 30 laps. They'll probably get up to close to 50 laps. And right now, and I don't think this is a surprise, Chase Briscoe in that 14 car, he's 11th quickest, but he looks the best on long run speed. Kevin, I watched this race from a year ago. Your 4 car had really good long run speed. Maybe not good fire-off speed, but good long run speed.
Yeah, and that's really the characteristic that the Stewart-Haas cars had. And I think, like you guys have been talking, they're going to be good here. And our car was really good here. So you know the car was pretty good because the driver wasn't very good at this particular racetrack. So I would look for those cars to have one of their better weekends as a whole, and not be too good or too bad. It's going to be probably a good weekend for most of them.
Well, we mentioned his teammate Ryan Preece, former pole sitter here. He talks about his run.
I fired off really good, but still threw loose. Either brake root side bite, more so entry and exit. Other than that, I feel pretty damn good.
Well, the only thing I would caution against that is the entry and the exit comment, because that right rear tire will wear out and it will make the car loose in the corner. And when you downshift here into the corners, it is just it's an area that you have to be able to be good a long ways through the run on the entry.
Well, go ahead and look at it, boys and girls. This 24 car is fast again at Martinsville. 10 consecutive 15 average, wasn't really there. 20, 30 on in, like Larry Mack said, on a long run. Now he's starting to show up. Second on the sheet in the 20 and second on the sheet in the 30. Who's in front of him on 30? His teammate Bowman.
Yeah, and if that car is, like we heard Ryan Preece talk, if that car falls off on the entry to the exit, you can really make a lot of time from those 50 to 80 lap mark as the other cars are falling off, if your car is not doing those things.
The way you drive this place, you can't just take off. And I'm not picking on Corey LaJoie, but his car was really fast, obviously fastest in this group, but he's fallen off quite a bit on a long run.
Yeah, and this car, the difference with this car and the old car, Clint, is you really have to charge the corner. You've got the downshift, so the way that you charge into the corner, there's less roll speed. You still have to have some roll speed, but you can get away with driving the car in hard and kind of getting on that right front and really rotating the car on the exit and work on the drive up off the corner. That's where our cars were so good last year at this race. We were able to continuously get in the corner, but we had really good drive up off the corner and not have to baby the throttle. We could just put the throttle down.
You have to drive this car with a neutral balance with this track specifically. You have to keep that car not leaning on the right front too hard, not leaning on that right rear too hard. And usually if you're leaning on the right front too hard, eventually all of a sudden now the right rear's starting to get loose because it gets that push snap loose up off, you burn the right rear up.
One driver in the news this week is Austin Dillon. He was very vocal on the radio last week, has been for the last few weeks, about strategy. So Richard Childress Racing made a change. Keith Rodden came off the pit box to a wider role with the organization. And VP of Competition Andy Petrie said he talked Justin Alexander, Austin's former crew chief, into coming back up and onto the pit box for the rest of the season. They have had success together. We'll see how it plays out.
You had to do something. They were getting beat up pretty bad. Confidence is everything in this sport. Once it's crushed, it's hard to get back.
Well, Richard's not afraid to make changes, and Richard has always been that way. He never wants to just sit there he doesn't want to sit on his hands. He wants to be able to make changes, and he wants to see his cars run good. And when it doesn't feel right, he's just going to decide one day, and you're going to get a phone call, and he's going to say, hey, we're making a change. Here's what we're going to do. we got to get better.
Yeah, careful what you ask for with him. It'll happen.
Right.
Alex Bowman, best consecutive 30 laps in this practice session.
That's the one that matters.
And that's always what I like to do in this practice session. If your car was even close, you wanted to be able to, you hear us talk about this in practice a lot, but you wanted to be able to run 50 laps so that you get a good read on your brakes, your brake bias, and the handling of your car, gets them a good tire wear reading. This is really everything that you're looking for to talk about tonight. You got to remember those fast laps so that you can relate that to qualifying when you need to make the adjustments to your car and balance to go out and qualify today, because qualifying is super important at this track and track position. But this is really the best read that you're going to, it's the only read you're going to get on your car to have the conversations tonight about what you need to change and what you want out of your car. And this is a great session for that, because the racetrack was already rubbered up from the truck race and Xfinity practice and qualifying yesterday. So they got a head start on not having to rubber the racetrack up, and now we have a lot of rubber going down, so good race conditions.
Starting to diamond like you were talking about. See him straddle this, drive up the racetrack, straddle the rubber a little bit, diamond back up, get that straight drive off the corner.
Yeah, and in this car, Clay, you're going to want to drive in and split that rubber on the entry. It'll start to, he didn't do it right there, but you can drive a lane up and have the left sides to the top of the black and then almost pull the car down.
I've been watching Chastain. I just told Artie to get on the one car. He was doing just that, entering real high. Obviously, as soon as we get to him, he ran the low line, but was definitely doing exactly what you said, straddling.
Yeah, and that's just to get out of that rubber. And as the race goes on, and a lot of cars will start doing that on the entry to the corner, and that second groove will get better and better. But the groove's already pretty wide, especially in turns 1 and 2. You got to have a versatile car here.
If you don't, you're not going anywhere.
Well, you can't
pass. It's a hard
pass.
place to pass anyway. You've got to be able, just like you said, all right, so what are the challenges in that? The reason you don't want to go out there is because you got to arc the corner even more. That's something these cars won't want to do. You enter the corner with more wheel in it. Once you roll out from underneath that, you get loose on the entrance.
Well, this is a great shot of Ryan Blaney, and you can watch him, especially here at 1 and 2. You really want to, he runs the bottom. He's going to wrap that curb for a long time. There's like 6 or 8 inches of good grip right there. But see how far around the corner he wraps that curb and almost comes off under the rubber nice and straight. But as you go further and further into the run, you go further and further around that curb and wrapping that curb where the grip is.
Ryan Blaney and Austin Cindric will be in the booth tonight for the Xfinity Series race. Now, you look at the 10 and 15 lap average, Blaney's not even in the top 10. He is 10th in best consecutive 20 laps, but 30 laps, he's in the top 4.
That's a tough balance here. You want your car to take off good so that you don't get run over on the restarts. But the further that goes into the race, if you have a good long run car, it seems like it pays dividend if you can get a couple long runs to get up through the field, because once the cars start falling off and the handling characteristics really start to show up about lap 50, you can really make a lot of hay at that particular point and passing cars at a much easier rate.
Good racetrack for Ryan Blaney. He is definitely a favorite in my book. One of them.
Top 5 for sure here last fall, and that final run was 168 laps.
Yeah, and that's what you got to prepare for. You got to be able to run a long ways into the run and possibly make a green flag pit stop like we did last year. But it's you got to be in tune with your car enough to know that what you're doing now might not work halfway through the race. You run around the bottom, that might not be the fast groove about halfway through the race because the track's changed.
Sorry, just finish this one out. Your last one here.
Flags are out, ending Group A practice. Drivers have run as many as 55 laps in this practice session.
The driver that ran the most laps was Bell at 55 laps. The other drivers who ran 50 plus was William Byron, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, Harrison Burton, and Daniel Hemrick. Other drivers ran above. Pretty much every driver in that group did run 37 or more laps. So a pretty detailed stint there at Martinsville, obviously on a 20-lap practice session here compared to most other tracks. You can get more laps in. And that's what these drivers are trying to do. Hit the racetrack as soon as possible. Try to get as many laps in as you can and really try to get a good gauge of where the tire fall off is and where the handling is over the course of the long run, because we are expected to see long runs over the course of the race tomorrow. As far as the top go-getters in this first group of practice, Corey LaJoie was your fastest, ran a 20.020, and he ended up running 44 laps total. That fastest lap was his third of 44 laps. Bubba Wallace came in second fastest, Ryan Preece third, Alex Bowman fourth, Martin Truex Jr. fifth, William Byron sixth, Todd Gilliland seventh, Austin Cindric eighth, Ryan Blaney ninth, and Christopher Bell rounded out the top 10. Again, this was our first group of practice. The next 18 cars will hit the racetrack for Group B. Another 20-minute practice session, but it will be for the drivers who haven't hit the track yet. And then Group A will go out for single car qualifying, 2 laps each. Top 5 will make the final round of qualifying through each Group A and Group B when that begins. Be sure to hit the like button if you guys have not done so yet. Our goal is to get to 50 likes on this stream. We are at 31. And also be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, as well as our goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers here this weekend. Again, coming into the weekend, just 47 subscribers short. So appreciate everything you guys have done to help this channel grow over the last couple of years. And looking to grow above that 5,000 mark and beyond. And we'll see if we can get there here this weekend. Quick shout-outs as well to those of you that are watching the stream. I haven't given any shout-outs quite yet, so I apologize for that. But David Niehoff, Regine Huddleston, Mark Kwiatkowski, JoJo, Time Changer, thanks for tuning in. Wade Solinsky, Dan Bowers, Bond 1771, Napoleon Ledoux, Dennis Gillespie, Carsland Boy, thanks for tuning in. The 35 likes now. We'll take our first ad break now that we're during the commercial break in between. The split of practice. Group A has just concluded again, and Group B about to begin their 20 minutes very shortly.
There they are. Those nuclear red hot dogs that everybody, it's tradition. You go to the ballpark, you got to have a hot dog. You come to Martinsville, you got to have a hot dog. And folks, they're still $2.
That's cool. You need a dozen of them, Kevin.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to be up here with you. You need a dozen.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to need my own bathroom, too.
Oh, that looks like a dozen right there. We have a winner.
Jamie.
Corey LaJoie, fastest so far in practice. Well, how good did it feel? I know getting out early is key there, but how did it feel at the end of the session?
Well, the racetrack's green, you can lay a heater down, but there's also the same for everybody else. It's nice, after a week, you remember you can drive, because last week was really tough. We had a long week at Richmond and did not run good. So you spend about 6 days wondering if you can do it. Just talking to sports psychologists, talking to the guys. I know these guys went hard to work this week. So it's nice to just come out of the box swinging because I know I'm capable. I know our group's capable. So to see this Cambridge Camaro at the top of the heap for a little while, we got to qualify early. Not excited about that. Part of it. So we'll get a decent lap in here later on and then fight like hell for 5 more laps tomorrow.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, Jamie. Denny Hamlin, in his post-race comments at Richmond, said it was his pit crew that won him the race last Sunday, getting him out of the pits on the final stop ahead of Martin Truex. Now, we'll sync up the stop times of these two cars. Watch the Truex left rear. Double clutch there. Made all the difference.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. That double clutch on the left rear. And, this is an interesting dynamic. Some of those pit crew members used to be on Martin Truex's team. Yeah, and the way that all that worked out, and when we saw the Truex rage after the race with everything that happened, kind of screams that maybe there's some internal things that have happened there with everything that is going on with that dynamic. But bottom line is, Denny Hamlin's pit crew put him out in front of everybody, and he made it happen on the restart and won the race. But the pit crew started that ball rolling.
And the celebrating they did after they got him out first would support every comment you just made.
Yeah.
I've raced my whole life, and I can guarantee you, I've watched you race most of your life too. If that roll was reversed and it was either one of us in that car and you got that wind stolen from you that bad, I'd be hot boy.
Well, and you've been a part of those team dynamics before, right?
That dude, it just all adds up, man. It's all part of it.
There's so many things that happen inside the race teams to try to, when one team's running good, they make this pit crew better, and then all of a sudden the other team starts running good, and they won't take the pit crew back, and all those crazy, weird dynamics that happen in the internal politics of the teams. And I know none of them on their team. So just to make that clear.
Hamlin's crew chief, Chris Gabehart, by the way, is a Purdue grad. Well, they're in the news this week, Final Four week.
Well, he definitely is using that degree in a very good way. Chris Gabehart is one of my favorite crew chiefs on the circuit because I love his work ethic. I love how he just controls his driver. Alan Gustafson, Chase Elliott's crew chief. I love him too. He has a great spirit about him that makes him super competitive with everything that he does, and he expects the same thing out of Chase.
Very competitive. Man, good looking car. Love that gold on there.
Yeah, and that is a great. Mobil 1 always does a great job with their paint schemes and everything that they do in our sport to promote everything that they have going on with the cars.
They're the gold standard.
And that guy driving it's got a pretty good pedigree here at Martinsville Speedway and on the short tracks across the southeast, Josh Berry. So we expect big things out of him this week. We've talked about the Stewart-Haas cars running well at this particular racetrack with this next-gen car and with everything that he has been able to do on short tracks, and Bristol and Richmond were great races for him with everything that he did. So big weekend for Josh Berry and Rodney.
Berry's won here in Xfinity and late models.
Saw Cotbush last night. He was over with Braxton at Wake County Speedway racing Bandoleros, and we were racing legend cars, sitting up in the grandstand, just the two of us, nobody there. We didn't have anything else to do, so we're out there racing. We're having a good time. Another car that we expect to have a good weekend with Joey Logano. He's always run good here. We talk about the Fords a lot. Joey rebounded well last week at Richmond. They ran up front all day, contended for the win at the end of that race. Really good on the long runs. And Martinsville's another great racetrack for Joey. So we'll see how that pans out for them this weekend.
All right, the Group B drivers are in white, and Tyler Reddick now has the fastest lap of this session for Group B, ahead of Joey Logano. Excuse me, Chase Elliott. We're looking at page 2. Elliott gives Larson Hamlin. Reddick top 2 on page 2.
Well, you heard Corey LaJoie talk about the racetrack being green, and what happens, they go out with a little mat and clean up the racetrack and get all the rubber that's up on top of the racetrack, and when they go out there, that racetrack has more grip. So you see the guys in this group are slower than they were in the first group because of that. And I always like to be in Group B, Clint. We talk about this a lot. Group B just gives you a little better read on the racetrack, and especially going into qualifying.
Especially on a track like this where you're laying as much rubber down as we are. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So you won't see the upfront speed, but I do look. You get over there and look at your consecutive 20, 30 laps on. That's where I think it'll kind of equalize, and you'll see that. Chase Elliott, again, these Hendrick cars, 40th anniversary, pretty sporty so far.
About 12 and a half to go in Group B practice. Ryan Preece talking it over with Drew.
The only 3 cars that are in this actual group of practice, Group B, that are in the top 20 in the speed charts, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, and those have been 3 of probably the quicker teams, or at least drivers on the quicker teams of Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing through the first 7 points paying races so far this year. So that is very telling. You look at some of the drivers who were fastest in Group A in the top 5. You had 2 Toyotas, Bubba Wallace, Mark Truex Jr. have been good on the short tracks this year, and Alex Bowman, who has had several runs. Even Byron in 6 just behind them had the fastest long run speed of the first group, but the 6th fastest short run speed. So a lot of Chevys, a lot of Toyotas up towards the front of the field again for practice session this week, and I would not be shocked if that would be the case again for tomorrow's race. It's tough to go with the Fords until you see something consistent out of them, like race winning speed. We've seen consistent speed, I shouldn't say consistent speed. We've seen inconsistent speed in the team where we'd see one driver run top 5 the whole race like Logano last week, but he didn't have race-winning speed. He wasn't there with Hamlin and with Truex, and even at times with Christopher Bell when he went off his strategy in stage 2 and looked like he could have potentially went on to win the stage if it wasn't for a speeding penalty. If none of that happens, Logano would have ended up finishing in the 4th place position, or even Larson was quicker than him. So, I mean, Logano had about a 3rd to 5th place car, but didn't have that race-winning car, and we haven't seen that out of the Fords this year. Even Blaney's 3 straight top 5 finishes. Atlanta was the only race where he actually looked like he could have won out of those. So the Fords have been good on the super speedway side of things, because you can even say the same with Logano, the Daytona 500. But yeah, the intermediates and short tracks, they are lacking way behind, and road courses. For that matter, all 3 Penske cars on the road course at COTA this season finished outside the top 10. None of them qualified in the top 10, not just Penske Fords, but Fords in general. So it's still early in the season, but I don't see Fords winning more than 4 or 5 races this year. And that's pretty bad when you have a 36-race season, and as a manufacturer, you win, you don't win over 30 of them. So something's got to change here pretty quick. And I think it's going to be kind of like one of those summer month races where something's just randomly going to click for Ford, and maybe we'll start seeing speed out of them then. But I don't see it happening within the next month or so. Before the Coke 600, I don't see it happening, to be completely honest. It's just kind of where I'm at with them. And I'm a Ford guy. I'm a Penske guy. I'm a Ryan Blaney guy. I want to see my guys succeed, but at the same time, a talent can only take you so far when the whole organization as a whole, manufacturer as a whole, is struggling for speed on pretty much every type of racetrack that isn't a super speedway. It is very, very concerning. Sid Vick, Brett Whiteside, thanks for tuning in as well. 43 likes on the stream. We're almost to our goal of 50 already. We haven't even begun qualifying. Let's see if we can get that up to 100 before the end of this stream. We've still got over an hour of coverage yet. And then also we will have NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage later on tonight as well. The 18 drivers that are running in this group of practice would include Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs. See here, Kyle Larson is in this group. Also just jumped into the top 20 of the fastest times. Denny Hamlin is in this group. Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Josh Berry, Daniel Hemrick, Carson Hocevar, Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., John Hunter Nemechek, Kyle Busch, Justin Haley, Brad Keselowski, Kaz Grala, Josh Williams. And the only non-chartered car this weekend is in Group B practice, which is the 66 team. David Starr driving the MBM car. First Cup start of the year for Starr. He is well off the pace, by the way. His fastest lap time was over a second off of the 36th place car. He's over a second off the 36th place pace. That's tough. I feel like that's black flaggable, honestly. Oh my goodness. He's ran just as many laps as those guys too. I think he pulled off after lap 22, it looks like, or he started later and that's all he's gotten to at this point.
5 and 10 lap average. How much fun is it to be back at this short track, Ryan, and know you have some speed again?
Well, yeah, obviously I love short tracks. It's where I've cut my teeth, right? And really, it's just been a process because not being able to have more than 20 minutes of practice, you really can only do so much to your race car each week and not feel like you're getting outside the box. So this week we kind of did something different from what we normally would. Obviously, it's paying off. This car feels as good as when we got the pole and led those laps. And if we keep working on that, hopefully we can run up front and lead some laps and maybe try and find ourselves a victory lane and get a clock.
We'll see you in qualifying.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Ryan Preece for Stuart Haas. Joey Logano for Team Penske. Team Penske running their 6,000th race this weekend across all series. And Logano is 6th in Group B with a fast lap of 20:29. Larry Mack.
Yeah, he's run 33 laps, Mike, and his fall off does not look that bad. But I was very interested in what he told Jamie Little, or what Paul Wolf, his crew chief, told Jamie Little in Richmond last week. Every racetrack we go to is different, but if you're turning laps anywhere, you're learning. You're putting pages in a notebook. And Paul Wolf told Jamie Little they were part of the North Wilkesboro tire test a few weeks ago, and they felt like they learned something that helped them at the short tracks. I go back 2 years ago when he won the championship. They had gotten off. They went and did a test, a Goodyear tire test at Homestead Miami Speedway, and as we know, they got things together in the playoffs and went on to win the championship. You're always learning something no matter what racetrack you're at.
Right, Larry, their fall off is only 2 to 3 tenths a second from their fastest lap. Josh Williams back in 16 this week.
Probably practicing pit road. Well, he slowed down quite a bit, so maybe not. But this is a tricky pit road with the corners. I would suggest at least running your car around the corner one time just to make sure that you understand what that speed needs to be. And this is one of those places where you need to get all you can on pit road. Track position so important. Justin Haley and his gold wheels.
All the Rick cars.
That's right.
They had gold wheels. They had a couple of trips through the inspection lane here to get ready for qualifying and practice. And Ricky Stenhouse carrying the bright yellow colors this week on the 47.
Well, we love those Sunny D colors, Mike. You can see them. It's good for an old guy to be able to pick out the car. What a great looking car.
Yeah, but having to remember week to week who's wearing it, well, that's the other story.
Very true.
Often it's Josh Berry. This weekend it's Stenhouse. Clint, who you liking here?
Well, I've been looking down on the sheet here, just lap after lap after lap. Just 5 cars really fast. I like those SHR cars. You know, I think Priest and Briscoe are really fast. Logano is ultra steady. I mean, steady Eddie. He was in the 40s for a lot of laps there in a row. 50s, early 50s. Very consistent, very steady. But I think those Hendrick cars right now, if I had a collection of who I thought was going to win, probably have ruby red on them.
Now here's Eric Jones right behind Logano. He has been searching for speed and just 1 lap ago ran his fastest lap of this session.
Well, you see him running down Joey Logano, and a lot of that has to do with the amount of laps that are on the tires, the 11, 12 lap tire difference there. Joey will just move over and let him go so that he can waste as little time as possible to continue his run and not impede Eric's. It's the courtesy that you get here at Martinsville typically in practice, and that goes away in the race, Mike.
Let's check the tape.
Well, Josh Berry back out on the racetrack right now. He's turned 26 laps. He had just come in, and when he brought it back in, NASCAR officials came over and looked at the roof hatch on the left side. It had come off completely. You see it right there. It flipped open. NASCAR told Rodney Childers, the crew chief, they've seen it before. Maybe he bumped it with his helmet when he got in. They're not really sure. But you see the car chief, Cheddar Smith, right there, beating and banging on it a little bit. They think they've got it secured, Mike.
Hope so. 3.5 minutes to go. It's Rodney.
It's Rodney. We've got his son Gavin up in the booth with us today, teaching him
Bad habits.
bad habits and how much work his dad does in the pits, and how little work we do up here.
I tell you,
Don't tell anybody.
you asked me, Mike. I've got a new sheriff in town. The 11 car, Denny Hamlin, very, very fast. You know, our consecutive goes to lap 30, but I pulled up another sheet that's north of that, and he's the only car that's consistently in the 30s. He got some 40s and 50s on other cars, but he is together a string of 30s and some early 40s. Very fast, very consistent, especially on the long run.
Well, look at the difference in his start this season to last season. The haircut aside, look at how many laps he's led, average finish, and of course the win column.
Well, I would definitely find last year's haircut, but other than that, his stats look really good compared to what they were last year.
A couple more years to be bald, and it'll be they might get him one. Might get him that championship.
Well, I can tell you, I've headed down the bald path. So
well, he's getting better headed that direction. You timed out. That's funny.
You know, his teammate Ty Gibbs just had about 3 laps where he couldn't get down to the bottom of the racetrack in the corners, rolled around in the high groove, and then said, okay, enough of that, pulled it into the pits.
Well, I think a lot of that too is you want to start.
2 minutes to go. What's the problem there?
All right, we need to do something right here because it's tracking the track, and I got something
Yeah, copy. We'll look at the tires real good too. That's the problem sometimes cycling. We just got build up on them. We'll check it. Check the left front, boys. We got something going on. Something that's a little weird.
It is hard to cycle the tires here with the build-up and taking back off, and so it can definitely give you a read. But usually these guys are pretty good at knowing when there's something wrong with their car because they drive them so much.
Didn't they just have a steering rack issue?
They did. Yeah, that was at Bristol. Had the steering rack issue at Bristol, and actually they told us on the report at Bristol that it was something to do with the sway bar.
Oh.
So, but you see these cars on the entry to the corner right there. Carson Hosbar's car, as it goes over that concrete patch, you really see the left front bounce, especially into turn 3, the last lap. You see the left front tire bounce, and that really gives you an indication of just the transition from the asphalt to the concrete. See it bounce right there? His car's probably hitting the ground. Don't you think, Clint?
Yeah, that's the other. I was going to say that's the other part of that equation. If it gets down on that splitter in the front, starts bouncing as it transitions from the asphalt to concrete.
Now, are you still hard under braking when you make that transition?
Better not be.
Well, you will be in this car. But you have to start bleeding. You're gonna on the straightaway. You're gonna have your most brake pressure, where you initially let off the gas, and as you go in the corner, you have to start bleeding that brake off, because if you don't, it'll lock up those tires over the concrete, won't it?
Yeah.
So you gotta start letting the brake pressure off as you go into the corner right here. There's some cones on the outside wall, but you see the nose go down. As soon as you get to full brake pressure, then you have to bleed a little bit off all the way down into the curb, and then as soon as you transition off, maybe a little bit of roll, but right back to the little partial throttle.
Brad Keselowski searching for speed as we finish up Group B practice 2041, his best lap. So there are the fastest in practice in Group A and B. We will turn things around and get ready to qualify.
So the fastest 10 in practice overall were actually every driver from Group A. Well, not every driver, but all drivers from Group A. The fastest in Group B was Chase Elliott, who was 11th overall, ran a 20.164. So kind of similar to when we were at Bristol, where the Group B drivers were noticeably much slower than the Group A drivers. It seems to be the case here this weekend as well, at least by way of practice. Things will even out more as we get into qualifying. Obviously, the Group A drivers about to hit the racetrack. You can see the 18 that will qualify and the order in which they will qualify today. Your first 9 will be Harrison Burton, Zane Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Corey LaJoie, followed by Ryan Preece, Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, Todd Gilliland, and Noah Gragson. So that'll be the first drivers to get a qualifying lap in, and then they'll go to commercial after that, finish the round of 1 for Group A, and then we'll go on into Group B. Top 5 from each group will re-qualify for the top 10 positions. Everybody from 6th on back will be designated into their starting position based on the group they were in. So 6th place in Group A will start on the outside row of row 6, so 12th on back. Again, outside row for Group A, and then the inside row for Group B, position 6 on back. So we'll take another quick ad break and then continue our live commentary coverage. On the other side, you're listening to the Cookout 400 practice and qualifying stream on KRC. Once again, the coverage for practice and qualifying is on Fox Sports 2. So if you're looking at Fox Sports 1 saying, hey, there's nothing here, baseball's on, where are you watching this? Again, Fox Sports 2 is where practice and qualifying is for the NASCAR Cup Series today. With it being the evening hours, and again, Harrison Burton will be the first car to qualify here. Each driver gets 2 laps as well. Again, every track under 1 mile in length, you get 2 laps of qualifying. And we didn't see a whole lot of tire fall off in the first 10 laps of a run. A lot of the drivers in practice were running their fastest lap times between laps 3 and lap 8, I noticed. So I don't think there's going to be too much of fall off in between the first round of qualifying and then that second round when they re-qualify for the pole. And if there is, it's because of maybe the cycling of the tires themselves, with getting heat in them and then cooling off again and then getting heat again. That could maybe cause a difference, but by just the tire wear itself, I don't expect that to be much different. And there was some tire fall off, but it wasn't much. I think really the most I saw was about 7/8 of a second over the course of 50 laps. But the Group B drivers, although they were slower on the short run, over the course of the long run, as you heard there from even some of the guys in the booth, they were noticing lap times were really only falling off about 2, 3, 4 tenths at the most with the Group B drivers. So don't expect there to be tire fall off like there was either at Richmond last week by way of the overall racetrack grip level, or like at Bristol with the tire fall off. So I would imagine qualifying going to be very important. It's going to be very difficult to pass on Sunday. We know that with the short track package, and I would say even more so because we haven't seen hardly any tire fall off so far today. So definitely going to want to qualify well. It's going to make this next 45 minutes to an hour or so of qualifying very important for these drivers, and it's going to be fun to watch for that side of things as to who maybe is going to compete for the win come tomorrow afternoon.
Babysitter, that's my babysitter. Clint was late today, and he got to the trailer
today,
and he's late every day, pretty much every day. So we do have to babysit Clint.
Not late.
Anyway,
just comes rushing in at the last second with his hair on.
There's also cars on the racetrack.
Look at that list of awesomeness. Rusty Wallace, pretty good here.
Some modern and
Davey
some
Alice, awesome.
Yeah.
Wood Brothers right down the road from here.
Stewart, Virginia, half an hour away. Great museum. Have you been there?
Yes, I have.
Awesome.
Keep selling it. Keep selling it.
Yeah. Jamie.
Chase Elliott won this race back in 2020 and fastest in that second group there, Chase. So what'd you learn about your race car, and does it give you optimism for qualifying in the race perhaps tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope so. I thought our UniFirst Chevy was definitely different than it's been here the last couple of trips, which I think is I don't know if it'll be good or bad tomorrow, but it definitely drives different. So we'll see. That was our goal kind of coming into the weekend, just to kind of make a departure from where we had been the last couple of trips. Just thought we had kind of gotten stale up here. So, yeah, I thought there were a couple things that I really liked about it. Obviously, having a good starting spot is going to be huge. I mean, anyone you caught, it was, whether it was a guy that's won a bunch of races or not, it was really difficult to get by. So just taking care of that right rear tire and having a good qualifying effort will be a big deal.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep.
So the biggest thing you gain here from qualifying is an early draw for a pit stall. How key is that here compared to other tracks?
Well, pit stall 1 here is not as key as it is at other tracks because the timing line is so far away. It's actually pit stall 2. So you want to be in the position that puts you in a spot that you can have a clean opportunity to either maximize your timing lines or just a clean stop for your pit crew guys. Personally, Clint, I'd rather be on the straight line of pit road here on the front stretch than in the corners because I always had trouble picking up my pit boxes, but I have a hard time seeing.
No, you're spot on. It's blind around there. You can't see around your A post or through your window net. I mean, you literally can't see your box, especially if you're coming around a car as well on those corners, especially.
So pit boxes 9 and 10 at the end of the front straightaway before the curve with an opening between them. That would be your preference?
I think so, yes. If you get that opening before the curve, it gives you a good shot in. The only issue that you have there is if somebody picks in front of you because of the way that the speed lines are, people want to do that to take advantage of it.
I think it was 12. We were back here, and actually they put a timing line in because of it. Brian Patty found it, and I passed Jeff Gordon on pit road. Did it like 3 runs in a row. I looked past him, pulling into my box. He whined about it, got a real change.
Well, we talk about the famed Wood Brothers from Stewart, Virginia, and here they are with Harrison Burton at the wheel.
You saw Harrison Burton get loose off of turn 4 coming to the white flag. That is the absolute worst thing that you can have happen at this racetrack, coming to the white flag and getting loose off of turn 4 because it hurts both laps. We'll see how it goes for him.
2027 on lap 1.
Still loose off.
Yeah, you hear it spinning the tires, and this is going to be a lot like last week. These early cars are not going to have the best situation because of all the rubber on the racetrack, and the more cars that go, the more it's going to pick that rubber up and clean the racetrack up.
Zane Smith next. Qualifying order set by a metric, which includes last week's finish, last week's fastest lap, and point standings.
Yeah, you see Zane having trouble too off of turn 4, just kind of sliding through that rubber, but his car's bouncing on the entry to the corner over the concrete down into the entry of the corner.
Two drag strips connected by two U-turns. That's how we used to describe this place.
So don't let it fool you. The two ends are different. The way that the concrete is different, the way that they poured it, because it's just different. The length of how long the concrete is on the entry to the corners, and there's a dip into turn 3 over the concrete patch, and it's always felt like I could drive into turn 1 a little bit harder. But the way that you drive these two ends is very different. I know they look the same.
All that what I heard you say right there is timing. That's a discipline aspect that I was talking about at the top of this show. Timing at this place is so hard to piece together. Yes, it's a paper clip, and yes, both ends look the same, but they're drastically different, aren't they?
Yes, and the timing in this qualifying session is trying to not drive it into the corner harder. At most places here, you want to drive in a little bit because you can with this car, and that's where you make the most speed is driving in. You can go up the hill a little bit like Hemrick did right there and get away with it in qualifying.
Hustle the car a little bit.
You got to get the speed on the entry to the corner and get as far around that corner so that you can put the throttle down on the exit.
Corey LaJoie had the fastest individual lap in practice, and already Zane Smith has gone faster in qualifying than any practice lap today.
You know, look right there at the left side tires on that 7 car, and that's one of the biggest differences in race practice and qualifying is air pressure of tires. When they were getting out there making those long runs earlier, they were down around 8, 9, 10 pounds in the left side tires and maybe around 20 in the rights. Qualifying, you put about 28 to 30 in the rights, 14, 15 up to 16 in the left. That's the big difference in air pressure from racing to qualifying.
LaJoie almost got up into the wall up off of turn 4. Your top 4 and first 4 in qualifying. Zane Smith with a 19.988 has ran the fastest time overall between practice and qualifying thus far. Corey LaJoie, his teammate, sits in second with a 20.121. A 20.098. His second lap was slower than his first. 20.115 on lap 2 for Harrison Burton was his quickest. He sits in fourth now, as he was third. Now fourth. Daniel Hemrick had a 20.158. Sitting fifth of 5. Ryan Preece, who just took the racetrack as the 5th driver out, has now just climbed to the top of the leaderboard at a 19.963 on his first lap. Got a little sideways in 3 and 4 in his second, so it's going to scrub some speed off. Entered in a little too deep, it looked like. But Ryan Preece to the top of the charts, and he did win the pole for this race a season ago, so we'll see what he can do with that lap time and maybe have a shot to rerun for the pole if he gets a top 5 finish in Group A qualifying. Austin Dillon on the racetrack, as you heard during practice. He has changed crew chiefs, taking Justin Alexander, his previous crew chief in the Cup Series, back for the rest of this season. Final 29 races, plus the All-Star race weekend at North Wilkesboro. Dillon a bit wide through turns 1 and 2, did not roll the bottom well. The short tracks have been the Achilles heel for RCR in the next-gen era, especially so far this season. Both Dillon and Busch have failed to finish inside the top 10 on every racetrack 1 mile and less in length of the points-paying races. So 0 for 6 between the two of them on the 3 racetracks at Richmond, Bristol, and Phoenix. Dillon third quickest of the 6 so far to qualify. His fastest lap was a 20.016. Austin Cindric, the other Austin now on the racetrack, the first of the Penske Fords. He is the first of 2 Penske Fords in this group, and there's quite a few more Fords yet to go after Austin Cindric. First 2 are 1st and 5th of the 6 to qualify. The 7th to qualify for Cindric on his first lap. Times in at 4th with a 20.036. We'll see if he can pick up on lap 2. Through turns 1 and 2, looking to be about a 10th quicker. We'll see if he can stick 3 and 4. It's been the trouble corner for a lot of these guys in qualifying thus far, getting off turn 4. Some of them a little too loose. Cindric seemed to stay stable. Picks up 2 tenths from lap 1 to lap 2. And Cindric will now grab the pole with a 19.918. 0.05 of a second quicker than Preece's fastest time. So Austin Cindric to the top of the charts. 2 Fords up there. No Toyotas have yet qualified. The only 3 Toyotas in this group are Wallace, Bell, and Truex, and they'll be towards the end. Todd Gilliland is now on the racetrack, pacing to get into the top 5 in the early going. Another Ford. And he is in the top 5. Second quickest, 19.921, and that was on his first lap. Let's see if he can pick up on lap 2. Big slide and almost got up into the wall off turn 2. Kept his foot in it, though, and he's still picking up about a tenth of a second from where he was. Slides again off turn 4, and that's going to hurt his second lap, I'd have to imagine. And so lap 1 will be quicker for Todd Gilliland. Only 3/1000ths of a second off of Austin Cindric's fastest lap in qualifying. Ninth driver up is going to be Noah Gragson into the number 10. Another Ford for Stewart-Haas Racing. His teammate, Ryan Preece, currently sits third. Gregson into the top 5 now, 5th overall, as he just ran a 20.012 on lap 1. It's been kind of 50-50 as to whether the first or second lap is quicker. It's all about just not sliding the tires by pushing it too hard on corner entry. Rolling back into the gas, not trying to stand on it as you work your way up off the corner. Keep those rear tires underneath you and keep them from wanting to spin out. Like Gregson just about lost it off turn 4. These guys are really pushing the limits in qualifying. Love to see it, though. But the first lap was quicker for Gregson. So your top 5 through the first 9 of Group A qualifying. Austin Cindric, Todd Gilliland, Ryan Preece, Saint Smith, and Noah Gragson. 9 drivers still to go. Those 9 in this same order will be Chase Briscoe next to qualify. After him will be Ryan Blaney, then Alex Bowman, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Christopher Bell, and then Martin Truex Jr. will be the last to qualify in Group A. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream again if you guys have not done so yet. Our goal is 50 likes on the stream. We are at 47 right now, so just a few likes away there. And also subscribe for more NASCAR content, live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for NASCAR Truck Xfinity Cup Series races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying as you're listening to now. First of 2 streams of our doubleheader on this Saturday. We've got the Xfinity Series race coverage beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time, about 2 hours from now. And we will have Cup Series action tomorrow afternoon beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time as well. Robert Galletley, thanks for tuning in. Wonder why they don't use tire warmers like they do F1. Is there a rule? I don't even know what that is. I don't watch F1 enough. I've only ever watched like maybe 3 or 4 races from start to finish. Race, they'll apply heat to them like with a blowtorch and kind of burn off all the loose rubber edges, I guess, and scrape them off with like a scraper. But you know, they don't use anything for qualifying from round 1 to round 2. But that's also why they give them 2 laps of qualifying for these shorter tracks, so that way if the tires roll off cold off of pit road, they have a second lap to try to get quicker. So usually the second lap is the quicker of the 2. The reason why that might not be the case here today or in any other cases, if you just make a mistake on lap 2, like we've seen quite a few drivers getting a little loose off turn 4, it seems to be the trouble area in this qualifying session of the first 9 of 37 that have hit the racetrack. Up to 53 likes, so there we go. We've hit our goal. Let's try to get that to 100. You never know. You never know. I think the most likes we've ever had was around 80 for the practice and qualifying live commentary streams, so maybe we get there, maybe we don't. Love to see it happen, though. Chase Briscoe out on the racetrack. Beginning his qualifying session, his first lap. Trying to break into the top 5. We got 3 Fords at the top and another Ford in 5th. I would expect Briscoe to have a pretty fast lap. His 2 teammates are 3rd and 5th right now, so I'd imagine Briscoe will get into the top 5 here. He's had some good runs at Martinsville in his Young Cup Series career, all with Stewart-Haas Racing. Top of the charts for Briscoe on his first lap, a 19.870. Sliding, almost dirt tracking his way through turns 1 and 2 on lap 2. I don't think he's going to be able to pick up from lap 1 to lap 2 with that big mistake on the first corner. But great first lap, though, for Chase Briscoe to get to the top. He was about 400ths of a second quicker than Cindric.
That's a good lap, 87. That's HR. Good to see them boys up front, them Ford Mustangs.
Here, Blaney just buried the throttle right there. Very busy racetrack for the drivers. Everything happens so quick here at Martinsville with the shifting and a lot of upshifts and downshifts. Nice. Here it hit the ground. Never mind. Somebody opened the door in a booth.
That's your coffee they're bringing you.
There we go, up to second on lap 2.
You think he gave up that first lap to be good on the second?
No, I mean, we were in car with him, so it was hard to tell if he missed somewhere, but I would say he missed somewhere. But I really think that there's more to that second lap if you can get all the dots connected to put a lap together. Somebody's got to do it.
That bumps Zane Smith. Here is Alex Bowman. Second with an 88.
You see those cars not want to have the rear stick to the racetrack as they get right past the center of the corners. These guys want to throttle up. And one thing that you have to do here, everything happens a little bit faster in stayed right where he was in qualifying, so you have to open your hands a little bit faster when you try to put that throttle down harder. You got to open your hands a little bit faster to try to open the wheel to let that thing drive a little bit straighter and set that right rear tire a little bit quicker than what you did in practice. And it's really hard to get the timing of all that right.
Ross Chastain with a 2012. He's 2/10.
Now you see the back of that car slide out in the same spot that everybody else has been sliding.
I think that goes into that timing category. I think it's picking up the gas a little bit too soon, getting a little too greedy on the throttle, and not being able to stay with it all the way up off the corner wide open.
Yeah, I think it comes back to him. I think what needs to happen is it needs to be just a little bit of partial throttle and then put the throttle down to let that right rear set.
Which is exactly when we were riding along what Blaney did do.
Chastain's lap identical to Austin Cindric's. There's Bubba Wallace.
This car really likes the wheel to be opened up. It's a big difference if you don't have as much wheel into it to make to the left to be able to open that wheel up. Joey Hand taught me that as we were training for road course sessions, and it was really a light bulb that went off, and you just got to pick a spot on the exit of the corner to drive as straight as possible to get those hands open as soon as possible.
Now Wallace has bumped Cindric. He bumped Cindric instead of Chastain because of car owner points. Chastain is ahead of him. And Wallace digs on the top.
79, business is picking up, boys. That was that. He waited a little bit more. When he got to the gas, he stayed with it and just continued to drive away from him on exit.
And that'll lock Wallace into the Fast Five. Chris Buescher here.
Blew it down there. Getting in the corner. And you have to be able to drive the thing in the corner to make speed.
See how he squirted the throttle there in the middle of the corner, watching that ghost car, drove to Chastain, and then gives it up on the exit, getting to the gas too soon. That's that discipline about this place. It's challenging, folks. It entices you to go in, all right, I'm going to go faster. I need to get in the corner harder and then to pick up the gas sooner. Two things you can't do here.
William Byron's car was really straight off of turn 2 on this first lap, Clint. Little wiggle off of turn 4. As a driver, didn't stick that lap.
Got loose again. He's going to need to figure something out. 3 and 4 actually slid up high again. Try to dive in the corner. It looks like it's a little tight. Rotate back to the throttle and then snaps loose.
8th for Byron. He will not advance.
Not a good lap.
Every lap, the driver is going out of the pits and goes into turn 3 and 4. The front end's going to slide, and you got to trust it coming down in here to turns 1 and 2. But this is a constant process of, okay, what do I have to do the next lap? That corner felt like it was too tight, too slow. Wherever I can drive it in further. 3 and 4 felt good. Okay, now here's my plan going into turn 1. I'm going to drive in a little bit deeper and let the brake off a little bit sooner and see if it sticks.
Such tight laps here. Briscoe's second at a 1987, and 5th is 1991. An 87 to a 91.
Bell jumps up to 9th, but he will not advance. Martin Truex.
I mean, look at the difference between
4th to 7th right there. It's amazing. Truex against Chastain. One of them will advance, one will not. It'll be Truex right in the middle of that tight group of cars. And he is one and done.
That might be a key factor, what you said right there. Only one lap for Truex.
So it's definitely not going to hurt anything, that's for sure.
Bubba Wallace paces Group A qualifying to move on to the final round.
So your top 5 from Group A who will requalify for a chance at the pole in session number 2 is Bubba Wallace with a top time of a 19.798 on his second lap. First lap for Chase Briscoe of a 19.954. 870, excuse me. At 19.885 for Alex Bowman. He was third. Mark Truex Jr. on his one lap was a 19.888. And Ryan Blaney's second lap was his fastest, putting him into the top 10 for the overall qualifying session, 19.913 for Blaney. So that is your 5 from the fastest in Group A. And again, they will requalify for the pole. Everybody for positions 6 through 18 will line up in that order on the outside row for tomorrow's race. The inside row for positions 6 through 19 in Group B. Went to the point standings, did not mean to do that. Be sure to hit the like button again if you guys have not done so yet. 58 likes on the stream thus far, and be sure to subscribe for more NASCAR content. We'll take a quick ad break. Continue our qualifying coverage of the Cookout 400 for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race at Martinsville. Logano has the fastest qualifying lap history. Yeah, fastest lap ever was Chastain. But that was also in race, so that doesn't technically count as a track record. But definitely a moment in history that we will never forget. I could say that much. 62 likes. Appreciate that, everybody. I know we hit our goal of 50 already, but every like goes a long way. And once again, be sure to subscribe as well if you haven't yet for more NASCAR content. Still have one more stream later tonight, NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage for the Dude Wipes 250 at Martinsville, 7:30 Eastern Time. So your first 9 drivers that will hit the racetrack for this group, or going for Group B specifically, will be David Starr, Josh Williams, Kaz Gralla, then Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carson Hocevar, and lastly, Michael McDowell, John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones. So again, that will be the 9 drivers to go first in Group B for qualifying. David Starr being the first to hit the racetrack. Again, the only non-chartered entry this weekend for Starr. In the 66 for MBM. More than a second off the pace from the next fastest driver in practice. See how much more speed he can have here in qualifying. That car looks evil. Into the braking zone, it was moving all over the place, headed down into turn 1. His first lap was a 21.804, so this is actually his second lap. Right now, locks the front tires up big time. I thought for a second he was going to go straight into the wall. The major lockup. Yeah, that car is just not driving. I don't think it's driving well at all. Here's Ryan Blaney with Jamie Little.
Genuinely happy after that qualifying run. Did you think you weren't going to advance to the second round?
No, honestly, I didn't think it was good enough. Here, let me get that for you. I didn't think it was good enough to transfer, honestly, and fortunately we made it by a few thousandths or whatever. So nice we get another crack at it in our advanced auto parts Ford Mustang. I think we can make it a good bit better, right? I thought we were a little bit off. Like I said, lucky to make it and have another go at it. So we'll see. Track took more rubber in practice than I thought, which is a positive. It was kind of cold today, and the track got pretty dark, so that was good. Guys are moving around, so I think we have a decent idea what it's going to do tomorrow. Yeah, just happy we get another go at it and see what we can do.
Right after qualifying, Ryan Blaney will go up to the booth for the Xfinity Series race. He will not be wearing a bow tie. That'll be Austin Cindric joining him, Mike.
Josh Williams was just on the racetrack during that Ryan Blaney interview, and he ran a 20.192 as his 182, excuse me, 20.182 was the fastest lap for Josh Williams. Kaz Gralla in the 15 car is now currently on the racetrack, making his second of 2 laps. His first lap was a 20.355. We'll see if he picks up for this second effort. Gold rims on the wheels for the Rick Ware Racing Fords this weekend. Gralla as close to the wall as he could get off turn 4, just quicker than Josh Williams. 20.173 for Gralla, picked up about 3/10 from lap 1 to lap 2. And now Justin Haley, the next Rick Ware Racing Ford, will be right after him, as he is currently on the racetrack. Each car that's gone out of the first 3 has been faster than the previous. And Haley on the first lap, he ran 3rd, but we've seen everybody else pick up. A little bit of a tire lockup at the left front for Haley getting into turn 1, similar to what David Starr did on his qualifying lap. But Haley will still get to the top even with the lockup, 19.968. It's amazing how much faster these laps are in qualifying than what they were in race trim when they were trying to save tires over the course of a long run to get a good read on the race trim for tomorrow. Qualifying trim, we saw Wallace round a 19.7, which is about 3/10 quicker than anybody ran in qualifying. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with a big loose moment. Bit of a wheel hop, it looked like, getting down into turn 1 on his first lap. I always like seeing the Sunny D car, one of my favorite paint schemes in the Cup Series. He's got it this weekend. It does look a bit different than Josh Berry's Sunny D scheme he's had on a couple of his race cars this season. Stenhouse second on lap 1. He was the first driver of these 5 cars to hit a qualifying lap in Group B to actually run in the 19-second lap barrier for his first lap. Again, a 19.981. He'll go to the top of the charts on his second lap, picking up a little less than 1/10 of a second, a 19.926 on lap 2 for Stenhouse, so he's fastest of the first 5 in Group B. Carson Hocevar will be up on the racetrack next. His Spire Motorsport teammates of Zane Smith, Corey LaJoie rolled off in Group A, but Hocevar the lone Spire Chevy in Group B. And he's actually the highest in the point standings of the Spire Motorsport Chevys this season, by way of driver points. Hocevar to second on lap 1, 19.946. It was the fastest first lap anybody's ran in this group. Each car is just getting faster than the one previous. Walt's looking on just to see what these lap times are going to compare to his fastest lap time from Group B. Hocevar's second lap was not quicker than his first. It was the first driver in this group of qualifying in Group B that had their fastest lap as their first lap. So that 19.946 stands for Hocevar, and Michael McDowell will be up next. His Front Row Motorsports teammate Ty Gillen was in Group A and missed the fastest 5. McDowell a bit tight, it looked like, off turn 4. It's actually 6th on lap 1, but we saw a couple drivers have a very slow first lap, like Ryan Blaney, and still get into the top 5 on his second lap. Many more cars, obviously, to go yet after McDowell in this group, but it is worth noting. Big slide by Michael McDowell. Had to lift to keep it off the wall that time, and he actually dropped off. Poor qualifying session there for McDowell. His fastest a 20.208, 6th of 7 so far in Group B. John Hunter Nemechek is now on racetrack. First Toyota in Group B to run a lap. His first lap of 20.220. Pretty slow there. It's actually a little bit slower than McDowell's fastest lap. Nemechek going to have a big pickup here on lap 2 if he's not going to want to start at the back of the field tomorrow. He's in the green into turns 3 and 4, at least for the top 5. Not saying much now, though, again, considering how early we are into this group of qualifying. Picked up quite a bit through turns 3 and 4, and moves to 4th overall. in this group of a 20.045 being his fastest lap on lap 2. And now his teammate Eric Jones is on the racetrack as the 9th driver in Group B to qualify. Family Dollar Toyota for Jones this weekend. Very good first lap for Eric Jones. It'll be the fastest of anybody so far. Big lockup into turn 1. He definitely did not get down to the curb on corner entry. It's the biggest lockup we've seen in qualifying today. Seen a few of them here on this side of the commercial break, but that was definitely the biggest. Had to have flat spotted a tire or something there. That's pretty egregious. And definitely as a result of that, his first lap was the quickest, but again, a 19.843 for Jones. Daniel Suarez is now on the racetrack. And then we will have a commercial break on the other side of Suarez's laps for qualifying. See if he can get to the top ahead of Jones. Fell off a bit through 3 and 4, but it's still going to be fast enough to get into the top 5 on lap 1. He's third, 19.946. He's going to try to pick up on lap 2. So far, so good through turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he keeps it up through 3 and 4. Suarez puts the power down off the exit of the corner. A lot straighter exit that time for Suarez on his second lap. And he will move up just one more position in the running order for now at 19.886. Couple hundredths off of Jones's fastest lap. 9 drivers still to qualify in Group B. 10 have already gone, and Eric Jones is the fastest so far. Daniel Suarez second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. third. Carson Hocevar fourth, and Justin Haley is in 5th. Hit that like button again if you guys haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We'll continue our live commentary coverage of NASCAR Cup Series qualifying for the Cookout 400 at Martinsville tomorrow on KRC here today. John Barber, Bob Uncle, thanks for tuning in. Yep, I will be streaming for the Xfinity race tonight. 7:30 Eastern will be our Xfinity Series coverage. Still got a bit of qualifying yet to go. Again, 9 drivers left in Group B, and then the top 10 will re-qualify, which will be the top 5 from Group A in Group B to try to set the pole time. Bubba Wallace's time in Group A has been the fastest so far. It was a 19.780, I believe. I believe it was a 19.780. The only 19.7 we've seen in qualifying so far today. We've got quite a few fast cars yet to go in this group. The fastest drivers from practice of this group, Chase Elliott was actually the very fastest in practice in Group B. And then behind him in that order would have been Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, and then Denny Hamlin were the fastest 4. They all still have to qualify yet. Kyle Busch will be the next to hit the racetrack, though, and then Josh Berry will be after Busch, followed by Ty Gibbs, then Brad Keselowski, Tyler Reddick after Keselowski, then Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson will round out the group, so Larson will be the last driver to try to get into the top 5. We'll see if he can get it done. And Cookout 400 pole qualifying. Maybe we'll have a new driver sit on the pole for the first time this year. I feel like we've seen a lot of the same drivers qualify up towards the front of the field in a lot of races this season. Most of them being Joey Logano. And he still has to qualify yet today. And saw his teammate Ryan Blaney make it into the fastest 5 in Group A. So maybe Logano's got something.
Where's that Trevor Bayne? That's Matt. Look at that smile. That's definitely Matt Kenseth.
Mischievous smile. It's definitely Matt Kenseth. And I put that boy behind the wheel. Get one of these cars out for him. He'll drive to the front.
We saw Kyle Busch get really loose, coming to the green flag and loose again off of turn 2. And as a driver, you got to decide, all right, what do I do now? I don't have as much rear grip, so I got to make the speed somewhere else in the corner than get back to the throttle so soon.
Well, what you got to do is straighten the entrance up, right? straighten the entrance up and not be arched as much getting in. Probably diamond the corner a little bit. If you loose off, try to diamond it up and get rotated in the middle so you can straighten the exit up as well. And I think that's what Kyle did.
A lot better. And he has bumped Haley out of the fast five.
Look at the exit speed.
Top of the chart, Kyle.
Wow, fastest time yet.
Josh Berry. Berry, second fastest, bumps Carson Osimo.
Well, you see him walk that car up the racetrack on the entry to turn 1 on the second lap here.
This track is definitely picking up speed in a big way. I think the rubber that we were talking about, some of it, and I think the shade, the sun going down on this racetrack behind the grandstands is helping as well.
Wow. Berry even faster, 1970. All right, Ty Gibbs.
Remember, a 79 was fastest in the first group.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening, you see right there, the shade on the racetrack.
A lot more out of the second lap.
Ninth on lap 1.
Really diamond in the corner.
Needs about 2/10.
Up the hill.
Sliding up in the middle of the corner.
He gets it.
A little bit.
Third fastest, 1983.
Well, that's the thing we talked about earlier, Clint. This is a part of the weekend where you can get away with driving in too hard and sliding up the racetrack and diamonding that exit of the corners. We see the left front lock up really bad on Brad Keselowski right there.
So Stenhouse is bumped. Suarez on the bubble. Tenth for Keselowski, 20:04. It's about 12 100ths here. 16 100ths.
This is a track, and this is probably going to win some people over and lose some people over, but I really wish we could run these cars on a track like this without shifting. I think it would change the name of the game. I think it would, when I think of shifting, I think it crunches a lap. If you're tight, you can downshift, get the thing rotated, and get back up the gas. It helps that lap. It's an aid to everything.
Oh, that was messy.
All right, third for Keselowski, bumps Suarez. Tyler Reddick, and this is where the lock-ins begin for round 2.
Yeah, you talk about shifting, Clint. A lot of these manufacturers have got it to the point where they shift off the rev limiter. You don't even have to let off the throttle to shift down the straightaway. So your upshift will actually just put tension against the shifter, and it'll just fall into gear when it hits the rev limiter.
Exactly. Just keep perfecting it. Everybody's got opinions. I certainly have mine. And that's one on a track like this. I wish we could figure out how to make go away.
So Reddick 10.
It doesn't get any closer than that.
Oh, he picks up to 6th, but that will lock Josh Berry into the final round. Here's Joey Logano.
If he goes to the top of the sheet, you may see him try to just run one lap. Remember that first group? Truex was the only one on the lap, but it's going to take more than that.
If he is first or second, he will lock himself in to the final round.
He's going to need another lap. Remember, there's these fourth car left, and I think one of those cars, if Chase Elliott, Afrim, Denny Hamlin, or Kyle Larson, I love what I saw at Truex, giving them that opportunity to do that. It's an option on the table.
Logano to second, locks himself into the final round.
Man, this track's picking up too.
Knocks out Eric Jones.
I think some of it has to do with the conditions. I think a lot of it has to do with the rubber just continuously getting cleaned up off the racetrack as well.
He was so close.
Chase Elliott 6th. 1/100th. To make the Fast Five, he needs 7 100ths to lock in.
Wow.
Top of the board for Elliott. He moves to the final round. Wow. That's a shot fired. First car in the 60s. So it's Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson now against Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski for the final 2 spots.
Be a huge win tomorrow on Sunday. You put that 9-car Chase Elliott back in victory lane. NASCAR's most popular driver. It's been a minute.
Yeah, if he wins, you know where we're going, right?
Where we going?
Hamlin to 5th knocks out Keselowski.
Don't you remember the promise that we made? Chase Elliott won?
What was it going to be? Oh, we get to go to the pool hall.
That's right.
Yes. But we're not honking the horn. No. We're going to sound sorry.
Yes,
baby.
you are. There you go. Hamlin to 2nd. And he is in. That means the final spot in the Fast Five will be Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch.
This car was extremely fast in race trim. If he can make this bubble, you might see this car pull off. It's close.
This car is extremely fast everywhere, Glenn.
Seems to be.
Bubba Wallace fastest in Group A would not have made it in Group B in the final round. Larson needs 1/100th of a second and a little more.
It's a really good point what you said. It just tells you, I mean, what is it, a matter of 20 minutes maybe? That sun's going down, the rubber coming off the racetrack, business is picking up.
And the last spot in the final round goes to Kyle Larson, top of the board.
Wow.
Yeah, those last several guys did a great job of not locking their tires up on the first lap and doing the things that some of those cars did to really build to what they needed for the second lap.
The field is set for the final round of pole qualifying, led by Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson's 19.641 puts him at the top of Group B qualifying. Chase Elliott, his teammate, in second with a 19.665, a 19.674 for Denny Hamlin in third. Josh Berry, fourth quickest of a 19.7 flat, and a 19.729 as the fastest lap on lap 2 for Joey Logano. Those will be the 5 drivers to requalify from the pole in Group B. Top 10 to requalify for the starting 10 positions for tomorrow's Cookout 400 at Martinsville. Be sure to hit the like button again on the stream if you haven't yet. Up to 70 likes on the stream. We're almost to a record for the most likes on a live commentary stream for NASCAR Cup practice and qualifying. Obviously, I've only been doing these streams for practice and qualifying this season, so it's a very short list. We've only had about 7 of them. This is the 8th now. This season, but we are very close to that record for the most likes. 80 is the goal to beat. Our goal for the day was 50, but 80 is that number to beat. So be sure to hit that like button if you haven't yet. We'll take another break here and then continue the requalifying to the top 10 here shortly. You're listening on KRC. Once again, a reminder, 7:30 Eastern Time tonight, about an hour and a half from now, live commentary for tonight's NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Martinsville to Dude Wipes 250. And tomorrow's Cup action will begin at 2:30 Eastern Time with our pre-race coverage of the Cookout 400. Again, you're listening to qualifying right now. We'll get that, we won't have the order, I guess, technically, for the next round of qualifying, but it'll be reverse order of where they finished in their group. So Group A will go first. Ryan Blaney will be the first car to hit the racetrack as he was 5th. Then it'll be Martin Truex Jr. to go after him. The 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place car from Group A. Bubba Wallace had the fastest lap, and his fastest lap was actually slower than his fastest lap would have been 7th overall in Group B. So that's how much the lap times had picked up from Group A to Group B in qualifying over the course of about 20 minutes or so of real time. That much shade has covered the racetrack between now and then, mostly on the front stretch. Still a lot of sun off the exit of Turn 2 and into Turn 3 on the back stretch. Temperature slowly dropping. It'll be a cool night tonight for those Xfinity Series drivers. In the mid-40s last night for the Truck Series race, and that equates to less fall-off with less, obviously, tire wear and tire fall off with the cooler track temps. during the daytime temperatures tomorrow, it'll be kind of similar to what we have for practice and qualifying today for the Cup Series for their race. Again, their race taking place in the daytime. So again, Ryan Blaney will be first. Then it'll be Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace. That will be the first 5 to qualify. After Wallace, then it'll be Logano, Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson will be the last to try to go for the pole. Positions 11 through 37th are already set. Again, Group B will be the inside lane from row 6 on back based off the finishing position and qualifying in that group, and then Group A will be the outside row. Here's Chase Briscoe standing with Jamie Little.
Aero package is different, the body's different. How did this car compare?
I would say it was definitely a little more out of the racetrack, I thought. Like, it was a little freer in, a little less drive off. So, kind of what you think coming here it'll be like. But, yeah, you never really know until you get here. So, that was kind of the hard thing, I would say, perhaps deciphering, is our car a little bit worse or is the aero package? And, truthfully, I feel like from a speed standpoint, we were about where we were before. So, that's encouraging from our 14 group, doing a really good job. And even Stewart Haas as a whole, to have 2 cars in the top 10 again is really good. So, yeah, so far so good. Thought we had a good long-run car, too, which is nice. Just need to maximize our starting position here for sure in this final round.
Well, the good news is you are making it to the final round, so things are good at the track. Things are good at home. Yeah. You just made an announcement on Twitter. Want to share that with the world?
Yeah, I'm definitely extra motivated now. I got 2 more mouths to feed, so yeah, me and Marissa are expecting and twins. There is not much in life that compares to the doctor telling you, oh wait, by the way, there's 2. So that was quite the unbelievable experience. Me and Marissa kind of just drove home the whole time. I don't even think we said a word to each other. We were just in shock. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. The due date's in October, so it's going to be a big change in our household, but one that we're looking forward to. So yeah, looking forward to obviously growing our family and Brooks being a big brother. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Congratulations to both you and your family, and for having good speed in the car.
Yeah, thank you. See if we can put it all together.
All right, Mike.
All right, congratulations to the Briscoes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, look at there. Well, that's his motorhome.
Is that his bus?
Yeah, that's his own motorhome.
Definitely is.
Yeah, I'd actually buy it for him. Ask him to put it in there.
I can't believe they didn't burn all those things. You think they actually sold it? Oh, yeah. Or did they give that away?
What you don't know is my motorhome's right in front of that one.
All right, 4 Fords, 3 Toyotas, and 3 Chevys will run for the pole in Martinsville next.
All right, we are getting down to the wire here for qualifying at the Martinsville Speedway. My dog Fulton, thanks for tuning in. See Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is going to win. Tonight's going to be interesting. I'm upset that it's a night race at Martinsville tonight for the Xfinity Series because I really want to watch WrestleMania so bad, night 1. I would like to think I could still catch the main event live, and I'll go back and rewatch the rest of it tomorrow morning for what I miss later tonight. So don't spoil anything in the chat throughout the Xfinity race coverage later today. That race will start just before WrestleMania starts, but don't spoil anything for me. I do not want to know. But yeah, I think I acknowledge the tribal chief, but I do think Cody Rhodes is going to get it done. Then again, I thought that last year and it didn't happen, so I guess you never know. They tend to keep you on your toes with this stuff, I guess, as a fan. 80 likes on the stream. I believe we only need 1 more, and I'll fact check this just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure our record is at 80. Might be a couple more than that. And we are now just 43 subscribers away from 5,000 as well, so if you have not hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. So we can get to that goal before the end of the weekend. Final Fours on tonight. This is a big night for sports. Sports and sports entertainment. Let's see here. Fact-checking what our record is for likes on a live commentary practice and qualifying stream. That was a cup race. Let's see. 64 last week. Coda was 74. We beat that. Bristol was 84. So it looks like we're just a couple away yet from the record. 62, 82 at Vegas. Atlanta was 50. In Daytona was 94. I kind of forgot about it. I should have known Daytona was the highest. So 94 likes is the goal to beat. We need to get to 95 likes to break our goal. I completely forgot Daytona 500 qualifying had that much. I should have known that was the most viewed qualifying stream of the year is the Daytona 500, for Pete's sakes. So yeah, we'll see. If we could beat that on a Martinsville random Saturday evening qualifying session, that would be huge. That would be awesome. So be sure to hit that like button. Let's get to that goal. New goal. We hit our original goal of 50, but we're trying to set records here today. Let's set a new stream record. Try to get that to 95 likes. We're at 83 right now with 10 to go. Make that 84. About to begin this second group of qualifying, second round of qualifying. 2 laps, 10 drivers trying to go for 1 pole award at the paperclip. Track position matters so much, and a lot of the drivers that are in this group of qualifying had some of the better long-run speeds in practice as well. I know Bowman was up towards the top of that list, so were the Penske cars of Logano and Blaney. Elliott, Larson, Hamlin all had really good long-run speed, so did Truex. So a lot of these drivers here in this group, I think, are going to be contenders for the win tomorrow as well. And we'll see who's going to have the better chance of that based off of qualifying to get the best pit box selection as well. It's going to come in handy. But again, Ryan Blaney will be the first to qualify, followed by Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace will be the first 5. If I could like twice, I would. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and if you have hit like already, don't hit like again because then it just unlikes it. so if you do double like it by some reason, make sure you triple like it so you end up re-liking the unlike, if that makes any sense. We're 10 likes away from the record for the most likes on a live commentary practice qualifying stream this year. Jamie Little with Josh Berry, who's in his car ready for his qualifying lap.
Short tracks to go. What do you think you have here for this second round?
Yeah, I feel good about it. We've had a good car. The car was good in practice, and it felt good right there. I think that was the first qualifying attempt for me here, so I feel like I can do a little better job this time around. Just Rodney and these guys have done a great job. The car's really solid. Looks great. Mobil 1, 50th anniversary. The gold looks awesome, so we're going to try to hopefully put him back on the front row. That'd be fun.
All right, he's got to win in Xfinity, but first time in the Cup car. And by the way, the roof hatch is what we were talking about earlier. They got it all good and secured. He's ready to go for round 2.
All right, Blaney warming his tires up as he comes off of pit row with the launch. He'll roll into 3 and 4, need to get off the corner well and begin his first of 2 laps to try to go for the Busch Light pole. Being the first car, I feel like the lap times are only going to quicken up as we get further along here. Just like we saw through Group A and Group B. Track temps just continue to cool with every passing minute. Blaney pretty steady through his first lap all the way around this half-mile paper clip. And his first lap time's in at a 19.957. We'll see how much he picks up on lap 2. Definitely quite a bit of a drop-off. That's something we have to factor in as well. Is the overall drop-off from the cool-off time of the tires. Blaney's had quite a bit of time off the racetrack, obviously. Being in that first group. Maybe a slight detriment. Did not pick up from lap 1 to lap 2. I don't believe. Martin Truex Jr. is up next. And he did pick up, my bad, 19.816 for Blaney. He picked up over a tenth. Our leaderboard was a little slow there. Martin Truex Jr. times in on his first lap of a 19.962. He needs to pick up over a tenth of a second to get to Blaney's fastest time. Truex up off of turns 3 and 4. Will be faster than Ryan Blaney. Martin Truex Jr. to the top. 19.753 for Truex. That was faster than his fastest lap from Group A, and I believe Blaney also was a little bit quicker than his fastest lap. Alex Bowman is up. First lap has just timed in at a 19.927. Needs to pick up about 0.2 of a second to get to the top for right now, and there's still 7 more drivers to go after him, so he's probably going to want even more than that. Bit loose off of turn 2. Rolls 3 and 4 pretty well, trying to make that time back up. And he's not going to be able to do so. Truex continues at the top of the charts. Bowman still remains in third of 3 in the second session. 700ths behind Truex's time. He did pick up from lap 1 to lap 2, but was about 15 thousandths of a second behind Blaney for P2, a 19.831. And now it's Chase Briscoe's turn. Briscoe wrapping up his first lap. 4th of 4, 19.839. That was the fastest first lap, though, of the 4 drivers who have qualified so far, so that's big. He had the fastest first lap. Let's see if he can have the fastest second lap. Looked good through 1 and 2. Might not have rolled back into the throttle quite the way he wanted to. Can he pick the time back up through 3 and 4? Pretty good. Working his way off the exit of the corner. It was close, but not close enough. Second fastest for Chase Briscoe at 19.760. Just 7 1,000ths of a second behind Truex. And up now is Bubba Wallace, who was the fastest in Group A's qualifying session. He was the only driver in Group A to run a 19.7. We'll see if he can back that up. His first lap, not great. Couple tenths off of where he was from the fastest driver. But lap 2 is going to be quicker. A 19.719 for Bubba Wallace. 19.719 for Bubba Wallace. Top of the charts. Faster than what he ran in his first lap in Group A. Or his fastest lap, I should say, from Group A, which would have been his second at the time. So he has picked up. That's just going to be a matter of will those other drivers pick up from where they were at from Group B. It's going to be interesting. So Wallace to the top. They got a 19.719, so he was the fastest in Group A, qualifying both for Session 1 and Session 2. And again, 5 more drivers still to re-qualify for a chance at the pole. 89 likes, our goal. Again, 95. 95 likes is the goal. That is the goal because that will be a new stream record. Just putting that out there. We have more than that watching right now, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. And smash that like button so we can get to that new record of 95 likes for a live commentary stream. We usually have our goal of 50 because we don't usually get as many people watching the practice and qualifying stream, so greatly appreciate you guys tuning in here on the Saturday evening. This is not a good time for my dog to want to go outside, by the way. We've got like 10 more minutes. You gotta wait. I can't miss this now. If you hear a dog whining in the background, just ignore it for the next several minutes. I don't even know if you heard it or not, but I'm afraid you're going to be hearing it pretty soon. Monster Segment, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. He's pulling for Bubba. 92 likes on the stream. We are ever so close to our goal. 5 drivers to qualify. We're so close to our record. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, just a reminder, we got 2 more streams this weekend. We've got the Xfinity race tonight at 7:30, so that's a little over an hour from now, 7:30 Eastern Time. And then tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 Eastern Time, we will have Cup Series coverage beginning with our pre-race. All live stream this weekend. We have live commentary streams every NASCAR Cup, Xfinity Truck Series race weekend, as well as Cup practice and qualifying on the same stream as you're listening to right here on KRC. 1 more like from our goal. We're at 94. Let's go. I greatly appreciate that, everybody. I think we can get to 5,000 subscribers on the channel this weekend. We are only 43 subscribers away from 5,000, and we're 1 more like away from our goal and a new stream record. And there it is, 95. New stream record. We might get to 100 yet. We still got 5 more drivers to qualify and a couple interviews to get through before the end of the stream. We've probably got about 8 to 9 minutes of streaming left. We might get to 100. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Joey Logano was on the racetrack for his qualifying lap, trying to take down Bubba Wallace for the top spot and a shot at his 4th pole already in the first 8 races of the season. We'll see if Logano can do it. Joey wrapping up his first lap. He's going to have to pick up from lap 1 to lap 2 if he wants a shot at the pole. He's over 0.2 of a second off of Wallace's fastest time. Logano's slowest on lap 1, a 19.831. But by way of everybody else's first lap, they have picked up on lap 2 of every driver who's gone out in this second round so far. Logano close, but not quite going to get it on Wallace that time. 4th fastest for Logano on his second lap, a 19.764. 4 drivers to go, and up next is the final Ford to qualify, which is Josh Berry for Stewart-Haas Racing. He has shown out on the short tracks at Bristol, Richmond this week or this year already. I expect Berry to do great things tomorrow and have another solid top 10 run at Martinsville. But as far as today, we know he's starting in the top 10. Can he get the pole? Lap 1 for Berry, 5th fastest already, a 19.791. That was the fastest first lap that anybody has ran in session number 2. But he's, I can't talk. He still has to pick up about 800s, though. And he's not going to pick up 800s. He picks up a little bit on lap 2, but not enough for the pole. And in fact, he didn't even pick up enough to move up in the positioning order either. Berry still remains in 5th rather, 0.04 of a second behind Wallace's time. It was a 19.765 on lap 2 for Berry. Down to 3, Denny Hamlin, the team owner, trying to take down the team driver. Hamlin 7th on lap 1. What can he pick up on lap 2? Even Berry, even though he didn't pick up any positions on lap 2, still picked up in the lap time. So I'm expecting Hamlin to pick up on his lap time on lap 2. Will it be enough for the pole? Really good through turns 3 and 4. But he didn't get a very good turns 1 and 2. Hamlin only picks up 1 position, and that moves him to 6th. A 19.779 on lap 2 for Hamlin. The 2 Hendrick Chevys now left remaining. Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Elliott first, then Larson. Elliott, lap 1, 19.817, 8th overall. Now through 3 and 4. Chase Elliott up off the exit of the corner. 2nd for Chase Elliott, 19.752. He picked up the most from lap 1 to lap 2 in this session of qualifying, but he does not get to the top of the charts. Again, 2nd quickest for Chase Elliott. 33.001 of a second, the difference between Wallace and Elliott, and now it is up to Kyle Larson to try to go for the pole here at Martinsville. He won the spring race here last season, trying to get the pole in the spring race this season. Led a bunch of laps last week. In fact, he's led the most laps of any Cup Series driver so far this season. Lap 1's looking really good for Larson. He might get him on the first lap. No, not quite. He's got to run a 2nd. The fastest first lap, though, a 19.738, 2nd, and he only has to pick up just over 200s, excuse me. 200s is all he has to pick up. Off turn 4 for Larson. Oh, he slid the tires a little bit, but he still got it by 1/1000th of a second. Kyle Larson to the top. Unbelievable. You wanna say that is as close as it gets. That is literally as close as it gets. 1/1000th of a second, Kyle Larson on the pole as he'll try to go back-to-back in the Martinsville 400-lap spring race. Jamie Little with Bubba Wallace, who qualifies second.
On the front row at Martinsville.
Of all people, B. Larson by 1,000. So they're good. He's one of the best. So proud of our team, though. So it's good.
What did he call it last week? Karma. Still getting me.
There is your front row at Martinsville for tomorrow's 400 lapper. We'll talk to Kyle Larson after this.
Unbelievable. We'll go through the top 10 in the qualifying order here real quick. Again, 1/1000th of a second, the difference there between Larson and Wallace. Kyle Larson, top of the charts with a 19.718. It was about a little less than a tenth of a second off the fastest time from the complete first round of qualifying, which Larson was the fastest in that group, where he had a 19.6. So, not a 19.6 flat, but in the 19.6s. A 19.718 again for session 2. But that is the pole time for Kyle Larson. Congratulations to him. Bubba Wallace will be outside of the front row alongside with Larson for the beginning of tomorrow's race. Row 2 will be made up of Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr., 2 former Martinsville winners. Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano in row 3. Briscoe still looking for his first Martinsville win and his first win since 2022. Logano looking for his first win of the season. Josh Berry, Denny Hamlin in row 4. Hamlin, the most recent short track winner, the most recent winner in general, won last week at Richmond. Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman will make up row number 5 for tomorrow's race. Blaney, the most recent Martinsville winner, winning at Martinsville in the fall last season. And Bowman, another former Martinsville winner, he won the fall race in 2021. So that is your top 10. Again, you'll hear from Kyle Larson on the other side of this commercial break before we go off the air here. And again, a reminder for anybody that is tuning out right now that we will be live at 7:30 Eastern Time for the Xfinity Series race as well. 1/1000th of a second. That is unbelievable. You won't see it that close the rest of the season for qualifying. Unbelievable. Geocentric, thanks for tuning in. Trying to take a nap, but this is too entertaining. Good work, brother. Hey, appreciate it. Trying to take the mid-race or the pre-race nap, I should say. Thank you guys for hitting that like button as well. 102 likes on the stream so far. We still got a couple minutes to go here. We'll round it out in a few minutes. But again, you'll get to hear from Kyle Larson, your pole sitter for tomorrow's Cookout 400 first. And then we'll see you in another hour after that.
Kyle Larson gets the pole. I just talked to Bubba, and he goes, of all people, is this a little sweet revenge?
I don't know. Last week was pretty sweet revenge. I was finishing third and him having a rough pit stop. But no, that was honestly a bit unexpected. I mean, I knew he'd be good. That second lap didn't feel that great. So it was just enough, though. So really cool to get this 40th anniversary Hendrick Camaro on the pole. And it seems all 4 Hendrick cars are really good, too. So hopefully it's a good day for the organization and can be celebrating for Rick and Linda and everybody who's been a part of this organization for the 40 years. So really excited about it. Number 1 pit stall is going to be great. So just got to execute a good race.
Congratulations, Kyle Larson. You see Linda Hendrick on the door right here, Mike.
How about that? 18th career pole.
There you have it. 18th career pole and the first of this season, I do believe, for Kyle Larson as well. Again, congratulations to him. I'll see you guys in about another hour for NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage for the Dude Wipes 250. Again, 7:30 Eastern Time. And tomorrow's Cup Series action on the channel will begin at 2:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. Again, that will begin our pre-race. I'll see you guys in about another hour for the Xfinity Series race. Thanks for tuning in here. This is the most, I don't know about the most viewed, but it's pretty close. Definitely the most liked qualifying practice live stream of the season, even beating Daytona 500 qualifying. I can't believe that. Greatly appreciated. What a night we've had already, and we still have more racing yet to go. 103 likes and counting. Can't appreciate it enough. I think this is the weekend we get the 5,000 subs on the channel. We've been very close, chipping away at it here at the start of this season, and great showing by you guys here today. I think we can get it done. But appreciate it. See you guys very soon. And see you tomorrow as well, for those of you I don't see tonight for the Xfinity Series race.